when you're playing that well and you see your coaching strategies are paying off and the kids, they're getting theirs, they're buying in, and the wins are coming, how does that change the mentality overall when you're at the practice, on the bus rides, and at the game? Because obviously winning, it influences your culture. Getting a big taste of that here recently, how have you seen
Mhm.
things change for the better within your program?
Yeah, it kind of makes everything a lot easier. You try for years we've kind of been buying into a certain way of doing things, like a certain way of preparation, a certain way of practice, a certain way of off-season work. And early on, when you're struggling a little bit, it's hard to get kids to believe that that kind of thing works. But yeah, I think for 4 years we've really, and Travis has been around a lot, so I think he can attest to this. Our big message, I think, is that if you do if you do the little things right, and you do them consistently and consistently good, then eventually good things are going to happen.
Preach, brother.
And we've seen that in little spurts over the 4 years, but we've never seen it in this big of one where it was 7 games, and kids are finally like, yeah, these kinds of things are working for us. And I'll tell you, the most exciting part is, I think our older guys have always been bought in and believed in it, even though we had decent success but not great success. But I think right now, when you go on a run like that, you really capture the attention of the younger kids. Like, we had a freshman that wanted to come in on Sunday yesterday after youth basketball, and he just kind of texted me out of the whim and said, "Hey, can I come in and get some shots up?" And this is a kid whose freshman season ended. He's got 3 more JV games left, and he's already hungry to kind of get after it in the off season. So and you see those big games too, and the packed crowd, and you kind of hope the younger kids look at that and think, man, I want to be Jax or Grant or Hunter. I want to be one of those guys one of those days, making one of those big shots, or you know playing in a game that's an outright league title or a league share. So all that stuff helps the program immensely.
You got some dudes this year. I got to see you play a couple of weeks ago. I was really impressed watching them in person. And you mentioned those three names, and obviously those are the three guys that I would probably identify as who's kind of rowing the ship right now. But to me, Jax Wenger is kind of that dude for you. He just seems like he's got that it factor, whatever that is. We never can really materialize it, but he seems to bring that piece of the puzzle together for you. So what does that dude offer to you when he's out on the floor and then maybe even away from the floor? Because getting to talk to him a little bit, it sounds like this is a group that like to get together and hang out. He's kind of the centerpiece of that. So I guess my question is, how important is Jax Wenger to your ultimate success?
Yeah, I think he's the cog that turns us. I mean, he not only is he super talented, but he's our point guard, which is probably the most important position in just being able to handle the ball and get us into our stuff and be a leader on the floor. The old cliche, the quarterback, if you will. But I was just heartbroken for him early on. I mean, it's such a great football season, second team All Ohio. The kid's 6'2" and a buck 85 now. He's just super talented in all aspects, and I wasn't sad, you know, from a selfish standpoint. I was just sad that people wouldn't get to witness this kid, for 8 or 9 games or whatever that he sat out. Since he's been back, he's kind of shown, the kind of kid that he is against Cardington. When we officially did the stats, I think he was 22 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, and 6 steals. Last year in our district semis against Delaware Christian, he put up an actual triple double of 20, 10, and 10. And so I think he shines the brightest when the biggest lights are on. He's just got that X factor, that kind of killer instinct, the Kobe mentality. And I'll tell you, the best part about it from a coach's standpoint is, with that kid on the floor, that you're going to be competitive in every game. Even when Fredericktown jumps out to a 17-point lead at half, you got a feeling with a kid like that on the floor that he can just kind of claw you back into it, regardless of the situation. And um, that's why we're so excited down here at the end of the year, because he's back. And you know, fingers crossed, Cole Cuffman, who was instrumental in some of our wins early on, Mansfield Christian, Centerburg the first time, East Knox when we were struggling. He goes back to the doctor tomorrow. Trevor Brubaker's who was the other kid that replaced Jax when we were out. He's starting to get healthy and shoot it well again. And, you know, everyone was telling me early on when we were dealing with all these injuries that it's a marathon and not a sprint. Well, here we are at the last leg of the marathon. And, you know, I just hope that we're all getting healthy and somehow we can make all these pieces fit without, you know, I don't want to say hurting the chemistry because I don't think that's going to be a problem, but, you know, we're playing well. So, you know, how do you make all these pieces fit when everyone comes back together? I think that's going to be a challenge, but it's also going to be extremely rewarding.